The next value, the next concept, obviously what we have is for class C. You've done with class A, you know what is the concept behind the scene. Then we have class B. Just now you've seen how it is done. Now we have got class C, right? Let's talk about that. So regarding, class C. Class C address range is one of the simplest address that I like about, or address block that I like about. The address range is between, 192 to 223. All right. And again, the same logic, if you think about the network and the host part, so you have got the division like that. You have got 24 bits in the network part, and you've got 8 bits in the host part, right? That's your network part, and that's your host part. All right. So very simple. So the range starts from 192. So if you write down the, the address blocks in a proper way. So how do you write it down is you have got 4 octets over here. And this is your 8 bits, all are 8 bits, right? So the first 3 values or the first 3 octets are your network part, and the last octet is basically your host part. Okay, that's the logic. So the starting value of class C is 192.0.0.0. So the first 3 octets are basically your network. The last one is your host. So you know that if all the host bits are 0, if the host value is 0, so it is called as a network address. Okay, so the first valid IP would be 192.0.0.1. That's your first valid IP. Now all the way to 192.0.0.254. Okay, that's your last valid IP. And if you make the host bit as all high, so 192.0.0.255, right? If all the host bits are all high, the answer is 255. So it is your broadcast address. Right? That's your broadcast address of this network. So after the broadcast address, as we all know, is what we'll get is a new network address. So after this, the next value that we have, it is 192.0. We'll increment the value as 1 and reset back to 0. So that is your next network address. This is the network part, that's the host part. This is your next network address. And same logic, we have the values from .1 all the way to .254 as a VIP. The last value .255 is your broadcast. Okay, and after this, the next value, whatever we get, it is 192.0.2.0. That's your next network address. So likewise, the combination follows, right? So a time will come when I'll get, the answer as 192.0.255.0. That's fine. This is a class C address. This is the network part. This is the host part. So it is a network address concept, right? So if anybody asks that what is the last network address of class C, it's very simple. So the answer is 192.255.255.0. That's the last network address of your class C. The answer is not yet correct because this value has to be what? This value has to be 223, right? So 223.255.255.0. This is exactly the last, network address of class C. Okay, and you guys got the logic, how to represent a class C IP address. So with this logic, let me again write it down for you guys. So let's say the class C range is 192 to 223, and the address starts like that, 192.0.0.0. That's your network address. 192.0.0.1 all the way to 192.0.0.254. That's your VIP address 192.0.0.255. That's your broadcast address. Okay. And after the broadcast address, what you get is the next new network address. So the next network address is 192.0.1.0. This is your again network address. Same logic applies 192.0.1.1 all the way to 0.1.254. That's your VIP, and 192.0.1.255. That's your broadcast. Right. After that, you have got the next network, which is 192.0.2.0. That's your next network address. Like that, you will get 192.0.3.0, 4.0, 5.0. So possible combinations will happen with all those values. So the last network address, if I can think, so might be this is the concept that you get. The last network address of class C is 223.255.255.0. If you say last valid IP of class C, this will be 223.255.255.254, right? That is how it is for class C.